General. And that is the same context that informed us that we should disband or remove the inspectorate. Same thought, same thinking. Wanted to optimize. We still need to optimize if we are to correctly or maybe meet the public and their expectations in terms of what is happening throughout the country in terms of policing. But if we keep things like this, it will be our choice to always, up to the end of the year, say one and the same thing and say, we are trying, we are trying, we are trying. When 400 people will be killed in 3 months or 4 months around here in the Cape Flats and so on, and other areas. To me, it is not ethical. To me, it is not morally justifiable to keep things as they are in terms of the use of the budget of SAPS without juggling it accordingly.
Okay. I'm asking this question, Minister, because the CFO is also due to appear before this ad hoc committee. Is it the evidence of the minister that there was no formal request for the CFO to submit an expenditure report in respect of the political killing system? The minister and the team just made an assessment throughout the work that they were doing since July 2024.
Based on information that was available, as I've indicated.
So you confirm that the CFO was not instructed to do an expenditure report?
The CFO did make written comments.
But so Minister, you say the written comments are on the basis of a request, and the request is rejected on the basis of budget cuts. It's a different thing, that one, from what we're discussing. We are saying the the CFO made comments declining or rejecting a request by the PKTT people for a budget.
Yes.
And the reasoning behind the CFO's rejection is not on the basis of the directives, but it's on the basis that the department has suffered again budget cuts, just like any other department that is suffering from budget cuts. So that's why I'm asking. Because what I'm asking is different from the response from what was requested. What I'm asking is that, is it confirmed by the minister here in this meeting that the CFO was never directed to submit an expenditure report of the political killings testing?
Now, you're asking a question. I am responding. And I would want to respectfully suggest that I be allowed to respond the way I need to, just like you ask the question the way you need to. So my response is that I considered a number of issues in relation to the budget, overall budget of SAPS, and the constraints that we are experiencing. 2, I consider the demands on the budget around particular specific areas, by the way, including even the forensic labs that we don't have. I considered all those matters. The fact that Treasury is not in a position to give you more money as you would have loved. And that includes even the numbers of SAPs that we have instead of those that we should. So all of those matters. The budget that is allocated to PKTT in relation to the tasks that they are supposed to perform and the value thereof when you compare. So I took those into consideration, but the figures were there. Now, I then conclude, so I don't want an impression to be created that when I wrote, I only had one factor and so on. But out of all those things, then wrote the letter. Now, I'm giving you the context. But if you then ask me a narrowed question that says, before you wrote the letter on the 31st of December, did you call the CFO? I would say no, I didn't call her, but all the facts were in front of me, including on her comments herself in March, and all other factors like what was it designed for and how it happened.
Thank you. I think that will be enough. That will be satisfactory. So, has the PKTT been budgeted for the financial year 2025-2026, which started on the 1st of April 2025?
Now, I heard that National Commissioner said or overturned what CFO had said in March 2024, which I'm made to understand that she also made comments in 2025 about concerns in terms of monetary value, and that money has been provided. The last time I was aware was that National Commissioner was still going to consider the requested budget for 2025-2026. And I don't know whether the matters have been concluded to the effect that you now have money that has been provided. If so, I would still say that is money, in my view, that should be or could have been optimized and should be optimized along other areas that we now need, especially when in March this year, we have one fresh case of political killing in KZN. But you still budget the same as you would have done when there were 18 incidents or even 50-something incidents. So you would differentiate, you would adjust your budget. You would adjust your use of resources in a responsible way from where I sit, and that's my central argument.
Okay. Minister, it is common cause that the PKTT does not only comprise members of SAPS. You have got the National Prosecuting Authority taking part. We have got the State Security Agency taking part. We have got DPCI, Correctional Services, and other stakeholders. So what has been the value of their contribution? Or else, let me put it like this. What has been their contribution in respect of all the intention to disband the PKTT prior the signing of the regulations on the 31st of December?
Their role, insofar as cases that have been dealt with by the National Political Killings Task Team, has been significant. But you must also know that it is in the context of the cases that the National Political Killings Task Team is dealing with, as reflected by FACAS. In this case, when National Political Killings Task Team say we have one fresh case in 2025, it will be in that context, that contribution. In other words, in one fresh case. In a sea of matters, not only in KZN, national. And it is important to take cognizance of that fact. In a sea of other matters. That's exactly what is in the heart of my concern. When we start even using, as National Commissioner was saying in the Nhlanhla Commission, followed by the head of crime intelligence, General Kumalo, saying, in the National Political Killings Task Team, we don't use traditional methods of investigation. We don't use normal methods. We don't use usual methods. We use a different design that is expected to yield effective investigation And I agree with them. It's a good model, by the way. I agree. But I questioned myself, what is the ethics of a distribution of resources in a manner that caters for a few people in an effective way, leaving aside the masses outside? What is the ethics there? And I decided that, look, we need to change this. We rather adopt that model, but national, especially in the provinces, including KZN, by the way, where there's a high rate of murders, which I had raised with all the people, the National Commissioner, deputies, and provincial commissioners in November. And I had raised a deep concern. So we rather take the model, if it is good, that we are using in the National Political Killings Task Team, and use it, if we want, even in the limited scale in the 4 provinces that are high murder zones in South Africa, than simply getting joy that, yes, PKTT is effective when every other people is murder, other people's murder is just regarded as normal, relegated to traditional. I wouldn't want to believe that that is part of my responsibility. That is why I then said, no, look, we need to come up. The model is good, as I say. So direct your answer. They contributed well, but no longer to a point where we can proudly and say justifiably, especially if you look at the Constitution and imperatives of the 7th administration. We are not required to look at cases emanating from killings of certain specific people. You can call them elite or whatever. We are required to be interested in everybody. So you can't keep things as normal as they are. You've got to wake up, and you've got to wake up to the imperatives of this administration and behave accordingly.
Thank you. A second last short question. A person that goes by the name of Merdias writes a complaint to
name
you.
Of?
Merdias.
Okay.
Writes a complaint to you and sends it on the 31st of October, complaining about the continued existence of the PKTT and how she thinks that the police service must be restructured. On the 31st of December, the same year, you write directives. Has Merdias influenced your decision?
Firstly, I must correct that impression that the only concerns that I had dealt with at the time of writing the letter of the 31st was those of Merdias. I have gone through, to all the corners of the Republic. And formally, I only had not gone to the Free State and the Northwest and Northern Cape, but I had gone to all other provinces. It shouldn't be just because other people and all the people that I saw couldn't write emails, which the House could do, then they must be taken for granted. And their voices must not be heard, or they must be ignored or suppressed. It is absolutely not true that the only voice that I took into consideration was those of the emails that came from Merdias, and therefore she has a decisive influence on me. It is not the case. What about people that I've been listening to all over complaining? Including here. At one point, I listened to a group of 30 people here.
Our time is running out.
Time is up.
It's running out. We must break.
I think I can take it, Chair.
Has Professor Merdias influenced you?
Yeah.
Did Merdias
influence your decision?
Not at all.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Not at all.
The last one.
I wanted to make
The last one, Chair.
Not at all.
Just the last short one, Chair. The Premier of Gauteng, Mr. Mkhwanazi Al-Sofi,
Yes.
wants his own political killing system in Gauteng. Are you going to give him?
Now, I've heard that through the media, but it's a case of the need for engagement because of the experience practically that we've acquired. That the unit, I believe, that the unit called organized crime, as demonstrated in the 3 cases,
Okay.
is quite effective. I wouldn't, in my engagement that I may have with Premier Mkhwanazi, agree along those lines.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, thank you so much. We are breaking for 1 hour. And when we come back, the MKP must be ready. And then we are going to break at 15 minutes before 4. So now we come back at 14 hours. We take the MKP. We break for 15 minutes at 3:45. We come back at 4. I'm lining the speakers. We come back at 4. We take the Democratic Alliance and break at 5:45. We come back at 6. We take the EFF. And then further announcements will follow.